President Biden and Speaker McCarthy last night announced that they have struck an agreement in principle to lift the nation's borrowing cap and avert a looming fiscal catastrophe, with the U.S. set to run out of money to pay its bills as early as Monday, June 5th. But a big question remains. Can they now get this deal passed in time? President Biden acknowledged last night that the agreement is, quote, a compromise, which means not everyone gets what they want, unquote. And already we know about deep concerns from progressives and from conservatives. McCarthy, on a call with Republicans last night, reportedly said the Democrats did not get a single thing they wanted in the deal. And McCarthy emphasized what the GOP got in exchange for raising the debt limit, capping non-defense domestic spending, canceling billions in IRS funding, and temporarily imposing work requirements on childless, able-bodied adults younger than 55 who receive food stamps. President Biden says the agreement protects Democratic priorities and legislative accomplishments. One could also note that the deal lifts the nation's debt limit for 2 years, avoiding a messy fight just ahead of the 2024 election. And in general, the cuts are not as deep as many House Republicans wanted and many House Democrats feared. Joining us now, a Republican leader who helped negotiate this deal, Congressman Dusty Johnson of South Dakota. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. So what can you tell us about the specifics of what's in this agreement, and why do you think it's a good deal for House Republicans to vote for?
Yeah, I think you did a good job of providing the outlines as far as the spending. I mean, this is going to cut non-defense and non-VA spending back to 2022 levels. That is a big get for Republicans. That's what we had in Limit, Save, Grow. And it's going to save $1.5 trillion over the course of the next 10 years. It also, for 6 years, establishes caps at 1% so we can slow the growth of spending. But Jake, two things I want to hit that your graphic did not have. First off, late last night, a new provision was agreed to by the White House and the Speaker, whereby we're going to unlock American energy. We are going to provide shot clocks for NEPA review, environmental review of 12 months and 24 months. That is going to help, whether you like renewable energy or traditional energy, this is going to help unlock that energy.
Speed up the process.
Speed up the process. Okay. You know, Germany and France, the same kind of project they would get done in 2 years. It takes us 7 years, Jake. So we do need reform here. And obviously Democrats like Buttigieg and Manchin have talked about doing this. Well, now we're going to get it done. And then finally, just a big thing, it's administrative pay-go. When you have the administration step forward and propose some vast new regulation that's going to cost hundreds of billions of dollars, now they have to go find the money within the existing bureaucracy. It is a huge strike against a growing regulatory state.
Yeah, that's one of the things that members of Congress complain about the most, not just with Democratic administrations, but Republicans passing a law and not allocating money to make sure the law goes through. We're hearing a lot of grumbling from conservatives in your caucus. Congressman Ken Buck called this deal a debt ceiling surrender. Congressman Ralph Norman said it was insanity. Congressman Bob Good tweeted that no one claiming to be a conservative could justify a yes vote. Their basic criticism is that McCarthy gave up too much and could have gotten more. What do you say to that?
I'm the head of a group of 75 pragmatic conservatives called the Main Street Caucus. And so when we say conservatives are against it, I want to make it clear, I don't know a single one of the mainstream caucus conservatives.
Caucus conservatives.
And even some of them, there will be Freedom Caucus people who vote for this package. So when you're saying that conservatives have concerns, it is really the most colorful conservatives. Some of those guys you mentioned didn't vote for the thing when it was kind of a Republican wish list, Limit, Save, Grow. Those votes were never really in play. We get that, but overwhelmingly, Republicans in this conference are going to support the deal. How could they not? It is a fantastic deal.
How many votes do you think you're going to get? How many votes can you afford to lose?
We're starting the whipping process now.
Okay.
I have talked to maybe between 2 and 3 dozen Republican members. I have not had a single one of them tell me I can't support that.
Well, I just gave you the names of 3 you can call maybe.
Well,
Buck, Norman, and Good, who might have some thoughts.
I'm not sure having Dusty Johnson call Bob Good is the perfect way to get his vote. And let's be honest, Bob Good will not vote for this thing. And it doesn't matter if Mother Teresa came back from the dead and called him. He's not voting for it. He was never going to. This is going to pass.
So 70 members of the Main Street Caucus that you mentioned, are they all going to vote for it, you think?
I would be surprised. I mean, I haven't talked to every single one of them, but everybody I'm talking to, Jake, understands that when you're reducing spending, that when you're peeling back the regulatory state, when you are unlocking American energy, and when you're getting people back to work, this is a big deal.
What concessions did McCarthy make to Biden and Democrats to get it across the finish line?
That is kind of the amazing part to me. There were no wins for Democrats. If you look at the state of policy today in this country, and you say, okay, we're going into a deal and one side's going to get half and the other side's going to get half. Republicans will pull their half this way, Democrats will pull their half that way. There is nothing after the passage of this bill that will be more liberal or more progressive than it is today. It's a remarkable conservative accomplishment.
Are you going to need Democratic votes to get it passed in the House?
There will be some Democrats who will vote for this.
But will you need them, I guess is my point.
Well, we only have 222 Republicans.
Right.
I think it is certainly plausible that we could get 218, although I think it's going to look a lot better for this country if we can put a big number up on the board. Democrats like Joe Biden and some in the House coming together with Republicans to pass this, that's going to be better for the country.
So Congresswoman Jayapal, the head of the House Progressive Caucus, a Democrat.
She'll be a no vote too.
Well, I don't know what she's going to vote, but one question I'm sure is on her mind, which is why was it so important for House Republicans to have this work requirement for able-bodied food stamp recipients who don't have dependents, but not important to get corporations to at least pay some taxes if they made a profit?
Well, we raised taxes, not me, but Joe Biden and Democrats raised taxes on corporations by $700 billion last year. There was not, frankly, an appetite among Republicans to allow Democrats to do that again. What there is an appetite for is making sure that we're helping people find that pathway out of poverty. I grew up in a family of modest means. I saw my parents busting their butts every single day. And I know it was those efforts that helped me escape poverty. You cannot escape poverty without work. You just can't. It's got to be a part of the solution. These requirements are not mean. They're not onerous. It's 20 hours a week work, training, education, or volunteering at a local food bank. For people who are able-bodied, not pregnant, don't have kids at home, live in an area where there are jobs, we know they work. These requirements have been in place since 1996 when Bill Clinton signed them into law.